Hey there, Gamer Dom here again. Premium tank time. Yes, I know, I've got loads of damn things. I can't help it, they're so shiny and nice. Today I thought I'd take a look at the Superpershing, which is a tier 8 American premium medium tank. Although medium might be stretching a point with this thing. Mediums traditionally are fast moving with good guns. Yeah, well, traditionally. So anyway, let's have a look at this baby. It's on sale at the moment if you're interested. It's what is it, 13% off. Hey! In the World of Tanks premium shop you can buy it for £17.46. I don't know what that is in euros. Let me have a quick look. No, it doesn't tell me. Oh yeah, it does. 23.79 euros. You can also pick it up in the tech tree. If I find the American tree. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. For 6,120 gold. So, what to say about the Superpershing? Well, one of the first things to say about it, before I get anywhere, is it is one of the few premiums left in the game that has preferential matchmaking. So it is a tier 8 tank. It will never see a tier 10 game unless you platoon with something that could make it become a tier 10 game. So if you platooned with a tier 7 or a tier 8 scout, for instance, you could be pulled into a tier 10 game. If you platooned with a tier 9, a regular tier 8 tank, you could be pulled into a tier 10. But assuming it doesn't, if you play it alone or you play it with another Superpershing or somebody else who's only got premium matchmaking, this thing will never get into tier 10s. And that's a good thing, because the gun is limiting on this thing. Now I did watch a very, very funny video about this, which you can find for yourselves, but it was it talked about the fact this was an American tank with a riot shield attached to the front, and you know, that's pretty much the truth of this thing. I mean, look at it, it's just got armour bolted onto the front of the turret and front of the hull. So it's really a bit of a misnomer to call this a medium tank, because it isn't really. It's a heavy tank in all but name. So anyway, let's take a look at it. You have 1500 hit points, which is okay. If you look at something like the T32 regular heavy tank, that's 1550. The pattern KR is 1450. So the Superpershing with its 1500 is pretty good, right in amongst it. It has a weight of 51 tons, the way I've got mine equipped, which is pretty heavy, really. Again, let's have a look at the, yeah, see the pattern KR, which is the other premium 8 tank, tier 8 tank, is only 45 tons. So that's considerably heavier. And the problems with this tank, or the big problem with this tank, and people moan about constantly, is the engine power to weight ratio, because you've got that 51 ton tank going around on a 500 horsepower engine. So comparison with the new pattern that came out at Christmas, that has an 810 horsepower engine and a 45 ton tank. So yeah, the Superpershing is very, very slow. You will be out-raced by IS-3 heavy tanks, for instance. A lot of heavy tanks will be faster than you. So it's, as a medium, it's a very slow medium. It supposedly can do 40 miles an hour, kph, sorry, not miles an hour. I think if you chuck yourself off a cliff, you might do 40 by the time you hit the rocks at the bottom. It doesn't do speed. Traverse speed is 32, which is actually not bad, which means you can, whip around. Whip around. You don't whip around in a Superpershing. So let's look at the armor. So the armor is its real selling point. It is quite troll. The hull and the turret armor are 101 mils thick. However, that extra plating acts like spaced armor, and the front plate and the lower plate even are very well angled, so it's a really hard tank to penetrate. That said, there are a couple of weak spots. So this machine gun hatch here is a weak spot, and this sort of viewing thing at the top and these hatches are also weak spots, which most people who know how to deal with Superpershings will aim here. If they can't, for whatever reason, they may try that, but that's much harder to hit the machine gun post. So yeah, very good armor at the front, very good. And generally you've got to try, and with the Superpershing you've got to keep trundling along, keeping your big thick heavy armor pointed towards the enemy. Angling, of course, if you can, but it's important not to let people around you flank and side, because you're just not quick enough to deal with that. Your side armor is 76 millimeters, both the hull and the turret. You still have this bit of plating here which acts as spaced armor, so if somebody's not careful when they're shooting at your side of your turret, they might hit this bit here, but they've got all the rest of this to aim at, so you're hoping really. Back of the turret is also 76, the back of the hull is 50. So as I say, you really need to keep your turret, your hull and particularly turret, pointing at the enemy to really maximize that really good frontal armor. Your view range on it is very good, 390 base view range, which is very good. I never find it a big problem spotting things with this tank. It's a good spotter. There's a case for putting coated optics on it to make it even better. I find the problem is you don't often get to the front. Because of your speed, you're rarely the first tank into action, and therefore you don't really need the view range. So occasionally you sort of are sitting back, or you're holding a flank or something like that, and then that view range would be useful. But the 390 is good enough, and with a decent crew, I've got a very good crew on this. It's my M4 crew, probably my best crew in terms of skills now, third of the way through their full skills. They can spot now at 420 anyway, so all good. What else to say? So let's look at the gun. The gun on this thing is okay. Again, you see a lot of people moaning about it, and a lot of people fire a lot of premium ammunition out of this tank, because the base armor piercing is 170, which is a little on the low side for a tier 8 gun. 180 is really where it starts getting interesting, so 170, bit low. However, I don't find it that bad. It's quite an accurate gun. Aiming time of 2.3. I use vertical stabilizers as well on this, and I find that I can hit weak points that I'm aiming for. So if you know your weak points, then it can be quite a good gun. 240 damage for both the armor piercing and the premium. Now the premiums are horrendously good. 258 mil with the APCR rounds, and that's why it's a premium tank that generates extra credits. So you do see a lot of players driving these things around and pretty much only firing APCR because they know that their chances are they should break even or even make a few extra credits at the end of the game because it is a premium tank. I carry 13 rounds on this, but that's primarily because it's got very large ammo capacity, and I don't tend to fire it, as you've probably seen if you've seen my games. I fire gold or premium shells when I feel I really need to, but it's not something I do all the time by any means. I prefer to use AP. HE is 45 mil penetration, which isn't great, but you know, worth having a couple of shells in your arsenal just for when you've got a very low health tank to finish off, or somebody's side scraping you with very little health, or even just resetting caps is useful. And as I say, this tank carries quite a lot of ammunition, so that's not an issue either. Dispersion is 0.38, which doesn't sound great, but actually I don't think is a big issue. I haven't really seen much of a problem with the long range shooting, you know what I mean. 2.3 aim time, which is not brilliant, but it's not awful. You know, it's a slow moving tank. If you put vertical stabilizers on it, your aim time comes down considerably, even firing on the move or rotating your turret. So, you know, I think the gun's pretty acceptable. So all in all, it's a much maligned tank, to be absolutely honest. A lot of people, I didn't talk about rate of fire, did I? Sorry. Rate of fire 7.3, which is pretty good. So it pumps out the shots fairly regularly. Yeah, as I said before, it's a much maligned tank. A lot of people think it's underpowered and not very good. I actually really like it. I think it's a good vehicle. It's a classic premium of the old school, if you like, of wargaming. It's not the very best tier 8 medium you're going to find in the game, and that's because it has preferential matchmaking. It won't see a tier 10 matchup, and if it was going to face a tier 10, it would need to have substantially buffed stats. I mean, that 170 penetration on a standard round, you know, you might as well just give up and drown yourself, really, trying to fire at tier 10s, even getting, and you haven't got the mobility to get around the sides, so you know, your traditional way out of a medium tank with poor penetration is use your mobility to get around flanks and rear. Good luck trying to do that in this thing, because it just doesn't move quickly enough. So but it is a very good credit generator. I enjoy playing it a lot, and if you've got a buddy who's got one as well, a platoon of a couple of these is good fun to play, because you can support each other quite well. And if the rest of the team head off on one flank, you've got a chance of holding the other flank, just the two of you. So yeah, a good little tank. It's on, as I say, discounted at the moment. There's some speculation by observers of how long these preferential matchmaking tanks will be available. Wargaming have said in articles and so forth that they won't be doing any more preferentials, and they have removed several of them from the tech tree now that did exist, and all the new ones that come through do not have any kind of preferential matchmaking. So speculation is that this one, and probably the IS-6, which is the other premium heavy tank that's available with preferential, will, you know, may well disappear at some point. As I say, I'm only recounting what I've read and heard. I've nothing to back that up at all, so don't count my words of gospel. But it just seems logical. If you're not bringing any new ones out, then why keep some of the older ones? And generally, Wargaming seem to be recycling their premium vehicles at the moment a lot. There's a lot of new ones coming in, and That probably means some of the older ones are going to have to go to make way for them. So anyway, let's go and see what it does on the field of honour. So we're straight in with a tier 8 game. Fiery Salient, which I like as a map. It's a standard battle, which is good. Where are we? Okay, so we're in the north side. So I know where I want to go, which is to get up on the hill. But the speed of this thing means that may be challenging. But I have to confess I'm not the best ridge warrior with these sort of medium-y heavy tanks. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to head that way. We'll see what we can do. And see when make a decision when we get up towards the over the railway track. So here we go. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and now we're going up the hill. So we'll slow right down. Oh joy! Nobody's coming this way. Apart from the Panther and a couple of pieces of arty. That's really not going to work, is it? See if we can get anybody to pay attention. So, you know, what are we doing? 38, 37, 38, 39. Oh, we've got up to 40 there. And you can see that Panther has pulled away quite easily from us. We didn't have any heavies to come along with us. So we can't compare the speed with those, but oh, when you get up the slope like that, look at that engine. Look at that engine. You can't see any. Well, you can't see the engine. It's in there. It's a fun little tank. I really don't understand the lack of love this tank gets. I think it's a fun premium. Oh good, the CDC is coming over this side. That's good to hear. Yeah, see? Oh, there's a Pershing up the top. Now, I'm just going to load some gold for him because there's no way I'm going to pen his turret. Pershing has really good turret armour. And I know that's not a good thing to do. And I will burn in hell. Oh, there's a... wasted the shell. Didn't really fine premium for those boys down there. The Pershing, yes. Went for his weak spot and missed it. Let's try again. I've got some support this time. Oh, and he's got some support too. That's better. So I'm bouncing premium shots there from the Pershing, which is kind of fun. Right, bounce that. I didn't aim that at all well. Where's Yoloey? He's dead. That was a bit of an odd thing to do. Oh, I should have. Super Pershing down there hit me hard. And again. I have to pull back. I can't take all these shots. Repair the engine because my engine is bad anyway. I really don't need a broken engine on top. Let's relocate over the side a bit. So you can see, you know, it's got some good armour. when you get a chance to deploy it properly. The gun's not awful, I don't think. So it gets a lot of hate, this gun. I'll get the show up. I can't get the view on the Superpershing. Come on, stick your head up. They're not coming up high enough for me to actually get a shot on them. Okay, so the Superpershing should die, hopefully. I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to get up the hill. So what's still up there? There's the Centurion still there. So it looks like Centurion's jumped off the hill. He pulled off, so I can get it. There is still arty in play, which is not great for this sort of tank, because the reality is you're slow moving, things will hit you. Come on. You know you want to stick your head up. You can't resist it. I want to bounce that Jag Panther. Even though it's got a really good gun on it. You'll probably get me now, you wait. Yeah, there you go, it's inevitable. Bounce shot after shot after shot. At range he then hits me when he can barely see anything, kills me. Anyway, so, but it was a good enough game. We got up the hill. We took on a lot of their heavies. And we got in, well, the win, which is good. 1200 damage, looks like. We'll see what the end of game stats come out as. So that was a third class mastery. Yeah, look at all the bounces. That's what you get when you play this tank. We finished, what's that, 5th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th on XP. 5th on damage, 6th, 2, 4, 6th on damage, okay. Good job for the 1357, nice spotting job you obviously did there, 1000 XP. Good, good. Fired 15 shots, hit with 9 of them. Only 6 penetration, so that's that lack of penetration. Without that premium, it's quite tough to pen, unless you can fire up close. A lot of the shots I was doing were either snapshots or at range, so it's quite tough. 1200 damage. Oh, from a distance of more than 300 meters. Okay, so more snapshots than distance shooting. Funny I recalled that. Oh, because I missed a lot of the long range shots, didn't I? I was firing down towards the guys in the middle. Anyway, we took 12 hits. Only half of them actually penetrated, including the kill shot at the end. And we were taking side shots and everything. So you know, this armor can be really troll, particularly if your enemy hasn't got the leisurely opportunity to pick out your weak spots. We bounced 1400 damage, which for a, you remember this is a medium tank, so that's pretty good, and this is again why you get the premium tanks. It's the extra credit you generate. Now I fired a few APCR shells, but I still made 44,000 credits after all that, 61,000 net. So that's pretty darn good, really. XP wise, well, it was my first of the day, so 2,300, which again, you know, is another reason why you take these tanks, is to increase the experience of this already very experienced crew. So there you go. That's the Superpershing. We'll have another go, see what we can do. Okay, this is a tier 8 game. You know, because you've got preferential, you are probably going to encounter more often than not tier 9 games, tier 8s and tier 9 games, because in fact I don't see that many tier 9 games in this. Do a few, but not huge numbers, which is lucky, because you know that pen is just not good enough to deal with tier 10s. And that's why you get the preferential. So we're going to head along. You know, as I say, this is really a heavy tank. It's not a medium tank. So you play it like a heavy, and I'm going to go down heavy alley with it. And you check medium. Look at him fly ahead. There's an IS-3 ahead of us. See whether we can keep pace with him. And he's a heavy. He's a heavy. There we are, actually overhauling him. Probably because we're going downhill. We've got the weight behind us. My experience is when you pull away and head up a hill, his engine power is so much more than mine. No, missed him. It's worth a try. Okay, so I'm a bit worried about those mediums down there. Oh, there he is. He's down there again. Can we get a shot on him? No, simple answer is no, we can't. Oh, T34's almost quicker getting up this hill than I am. In fact, he is quicker. He's pushing me up the hill. Oh, the ultimate indignity. A medium being pushed by a heavy. Now, there are two RTs in play, so we do need to worry about them. I think I might try and be a bit aggressive here. Famous last words, probably pay for it immediately, but what the hell. Oop. Trying to track him, but that was a terrible shot. Ah, he moved. Shoot. Oh, well, the other guy's tracked him. Good luck, Comet, penetrating me from here. You're welcome to keep trying. I'm worried about the arty. That's the one thing that's a real worry. Ferdinand out there somewhere. That comet is persistent, if nothing else. Just got no chance of penning me there. Really has no chance. Right, now we can push down. Oh, my friend the comet's died. Let's go and cuddle him. Got it. Right, that's him done. So, what have we got left? There we go. Managed to hit him right in the weak spot there. Ferdinand's a lovely, well, it's not a lovely tank. They've improved it a lot, but the problem with the Ferdinand, it has some very big weak spots. And even this gun can go straight through it. Where have they gone? They've got to come back for the cap, surely. Where are they? Oh, there's that. Another hit. See this gun? It's quite surprisingly accurate if you give it, if you get a shot chance. Bounced off his turret. Got him. Good. And they've capped out, idiots. So, I think that was a far better game than I was expecting. That was a good game, really good game. So only second class even for that. So, you know, again, people obviously do play this tank very well. Bruiser, Reaper, Fighter, Reaper, Fighter, Bruiser, fire for effect. Finished up top on the team for experience, and also, well, we third on damage. So yeah, 4 kills. Fired 14 shots, 12 hits, 11 penetrations. I think the Ferdy one was probably the most tricky shot we had, firing at range. I tried to aim for. They have a sort of weak patch on each side of the tank, and that's what I aimed for, and I managed to hit and pen. So that's all good. I don't think I fired any premium in that game. Didn't need to. Did 2,000 damage, so you know, all nice. We only took 3 hits. They were all from the Comet, and you know, the Comet had no chance of penetrating me. Comet has a nice fast firing little gun, but I think he probably, if he'd managed to hit my the weak spots on the top, the little view things or whatever they are, he probably could have penned me there, but clearly he didn't fire it there, where he just kept hitting me repeatedly, well, 3 times without any joy. So that's good. Only 400 blocked with armor this time because it was only a pop gun. But look at that, 75,000 credits. We didn't spend much, so we made nearly 72,000. XP wise 1,500, which is great. So all in all, that's the Super Pershing. I think it's much maligned. It's a Marmite tank again, I think, in many ways. People either love it or they hate it. It's a slow medium, fastish heavy, whatever you want to call it. It's not a proper medium, so put that out of your mind if you're looking for a medium. That said, you know, if you're looking for somebody to train up your medium cruise, your American medium cruise, then it could be this is a good thing to do. And £17 for a limited matchmaking tank that you can train up your medium cruise, I don't think it's a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. So anyway, I love this thing, so I will keep playing it. So Yabu sucks the rest of you. Anyway, this has been Gamer Dom. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and let me know what you think. Have you got the Super Pershing? Do you hate it? Do you love it? What's it good at? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. No, it's used for generating credits. So anyway, have fun out there, be careful out there, and just remember, it is a game. Cheers then.